Nothing cannot be tabled without a brew, be it coffee or tea. So let's grab a cup of tea. Now, let's tell the nursing story. How did the whole thing about becoming a nurse start? I think looking back now, it all started about the age of 8, I will say. Yeah, I grew up in Port Harcourt, and if you're familiar with Port Harcourt, Nigeria, the area called Town, there were some block streets, very popular. One of them streets, yeah, I grew up in one. And you know the way it's built, like it's called a yard, kind of. So there are different families living in the same compound. So one of the aunties, I remember seeing her in this beautiful, well ironed and starched dress, and I think it's purple. It was purple in color, with a white belt and a beautiful hat to go with it. And every day I see her go out to work, I just admired her and imagined myself in that uniform when I grew up. So it was, I think the next time it came to me, or it became something meaningful to me again, was when my mom was pregnant for my second brother. I think she was about 34 weeks or 35 weeks pregnant, and she had an abruption and massive bleed. We were alone in the house, and I knew it wasn't normal. I knew she was not due. I was 12 years old at that time, I think, and it was just myself and her at home, and she didn't want to scare me, so she made a bit light of the situation. But then, as she stood trying to get stuff together, the whole floor was covering with blood, her legs were dripping, and it was obvious. So she sent me to get a neighbor that was way older than me, about 18, to assist me and her to get to the hospital, because apparently she needed to get to hospital ASAP. She managed to find herself in the hospital. I did for a brief moment, because they wouldn't let you come in as a child into the maternity ward, but because of the rush when they saw her and her state, they didn't notice, and I spent a few minutes there staring at women in labor and other things, and the way they rallied around her and took charge and everything. For the few minutes I saw, and the experience of thinking I might lose my mom or lose the baby coming, and the way they did help her, and finally the baby came through a cesarean section, I kind of thought, oh God, yeah, I would love to be this person, this nurse midwife who helped people in danger, who saved lives and all of that. And subsequently, being in secondary school, I wasn't too much of a science person at all. I was more inclined into languages, literature. Yeah, I loved reading storybooks and stories. And getting to the senior class, I was so glad to get rid of biology. Oh God, yeah, if you schooled in my time, you had to have studied in Nigeria. Yeah, during tests and exams, or even class, or they made you draw mosquito and its life cycle. They made you draw caterpillar, made you draw all sorts. And I wasn't an arts person, an arty, like drawy person, and I found it difficult. I didn't mind labeling, but drawing. But then you're also marked down for not having a perfect photo, so you might actually sketch something that looks like what it was. If you get me. And you know where the labelings are, but you're marked down if it doesn't look like a caterpillar or a mosquito and all of that. So I didn't get much good grades with that, and that really was discouraging. So as soon as I got to year 4, you had to pick your subjects. I realized that there was a subject called health science. I did have a sneak peek, and it turned out to be things that dealt with human diseases, nutrition, care, and all of that. That actually made sense to me, because I kind of felt it related to what I saw every day, instead of drawing mosquito, amoeba, and all of that. And then I also realized that if you wanted to be a nurse, you needed health science to get into school of nursing. Remember, I've always been that one who wanted to be a nurse. Even among my cliques, when they talked about what they wanted to become, if you're in the arts side, everyone wanted to be a lawyer. If you were in the science, it was doctor, pharmacy, and all of that. I never wanted to be a lawyer. All I wanted, and I said it out to whoever wanted to hear, was to be a nurse or a midwife at least. So it was a good grounding for me if I got to do health science, and I can become a nurse. But for some weird reason, I don't know where that notion came. Nurses were really looked down on, and people felt like it was meant for dropouts and people who were loose and all of that. But please, that is a very wrong notion, because going through nursing now, I kind of think they are for very courageous and actually determined and brilliant people. So my dad was not too pleased. Papa, sorry, I have to document this. And he wasn't having it that what I wanted was nothing. I come from a beautiful big family of brilliant people, and everyone wanted to be doctor and all of that. So for me to come out of the blue and I wanted to be a nurse, it just didn't fit. So when I had to hide. My dad was influential. He knows a few people, and the lady that taught health science actually wanted students in her class, because people kind of disassociated, or students kind of disassociated themselves from health science, because it kind of felt like you are not brilliant. So everyone wanted to associate with biology, chemistry, and all of that. So you go to biology class, it was all full, probably 50, 60 people doing biology, and you have probably 10 people doing health science, and even the 10, they might not be serious. So when she realized that I was keen and I was doing excellently well in it, she didn't want to tell. So she kind of, it wasn't like we agreed that you wouldn't tell, but she kept quiet about it and never mentioned it. Each time my daddy inquired about our welfare from her, that I was doing health science, and I didn't mention it too. I ended up doing the O-level exam, which was the final exam and the one that prepares you to get into university, which we call the GCSE or Living Set here. And I did well in it. But when my dad realized, because when the results came out, he realized I didn't do biology, I actually did health science, and it meant I was serious about nursing. So what he did was to oversee my JAMB application, and that was the exam you wrote, the kind of an entrance you wrote to get into university. In that, just like the UCAS, so you could kind of pick your university, the choice of course you wanted. And he stood right there. I was good in English, like I said, and literature. And so he kind of thought, you'll be good in doing something like communication or even education. I've watched you grow, and I think you'll be good with education. It wasn't a bad idea. It wouldn't have been my first choice. My first choice was to be a nurse, go to the school of nursing. But probably it would be my second or that choice, I would say. But I knew that I wasn't going to win in this battle. So I gave in, and I ended up in the River State College of Education, and I did 4 years program there and came out with honors in education. And life happened, and many years later got married, had my family, and we found ourselves in Europe. I realized, trying to start up afresh in the Republic of Ireland, I realized that I couldn't actually pursue my teaching profession, because they had a whole lot of requirements, including their native language, which you must have written in your exams since high school. That's many years ago. I left high school, so it wasn't possible. So I had to see an education guardian counselor who asked me the critical question, like, okay, since teaching is not readily available and you're not willing to kind of go through the long protocol of becoming a teacher, is there any other thing that has ever appealed to you that you think you could pursue as an alternative career? And I didn't even have to think. I just said, yeah, I've always wanted to be a nurse midwife. Oh, she was like, oh, this is the right time. Actually, the University of Belfast, Queen's University, is just in the process, and I think it's admission time. So if you get on top of it, if it's something you really want to do, then we'll prep you for the application process, and hopefully you get in and do something about it. But trust Naija, babe, I just learned, and I'm still trying to convert naira to euro, so when you hear what people are earning, any job at all will do, because €1 was plenty of money. So I just said, like, 4 years, No way. What else can I do that is short so that I'll start earning money? And the lady said, oh, well, you could do the health care assistant program. Is 1 year. I said, oh, 1 year is, yeah, I could manage 1 year. So I just need to start earning money. So I had to go into Calvary Institute to do the 1 year healthcare support program, which was like a pre-nursing program. And at the end of 1 year, I started working as a healthcare assistant, and that involved working alongside with nurses and midwives. So every time I went to work, it was like a hunt. Like, oh God, how can you settle for less? This is something you want to do, and this is your second chance, and you just come in, keep admiring these people in their uniforms doing their work, and you don't want to put in the work to get to what you want. Yeah. I decided I was going to go for it. Yeah, so getting into uni, starting all over again as a mature student. Yeah, that's a topic for another video. There was a whole lot of drama. Yeah, trying to consider the children, the dynamics of traveling, childcare, finances, being in a new country, figuring things out. Yeah, that's huge. We'll discuss that in another video. Anyways, by the help or through the help of the guardian counseling and the referrals they made, I got a bit of support in getting the applications process started. I needed to see the exams and all of that. All that was completed, and I got into Trinity College Dublin, where I did my 4 years nursing. I graduated as a registered learning disability nurse, as we know it in the UK here now, but then in Ireland it's called the registered nurse intellectual disability, and the Australians or Americans will say it's developmental disability. Yeah. So when I graduated, I kind of realized that, okay, even with this, I won't be able to become a midwife if I decide to subsequently go back to school. The only alternative was to do a conversion course to adult nurse. So because I've done 4 years, I'll be given a concession, so I could go for 18 months program and train to become an adult or general nurse, as you will know it. So I took another application after a year having worked in a nursing home, and I got into Napier University, Edinburgh, where I did my 18 months conversion course to become an adult nurse. From there, I progressed and we relocated to UK here, where I am at the moment, and I got my first job in adult nursing, and I've been in adult nursing for 6.5 years now. Well, I've deviated. I've done adult nursing. I've been to neonatal, that's working with preterm babies. In fact, I've done more of that since I qualified. And somewhere along the line, I'm working next door to midwives. I've, delivery suits and all of that. So while practicing in neonatal nursing or special care babies, I worked a whole lot with midwives, and I'm that person that when I want to achieve something, there's no stopping me, and I beat myself hard if I stop halfway. So when I started midwifery or nursing, it was midwifery. So I needed to get it. This time around, it came on a platter of gold because I thought that was it. My kids were moving on to university, and I kind of thought, oh God, the financial involvement and all that, I won't be able to go back to school on a full-time basis. However, the trust advertised for post-registered nurses who want to train as midwives. And if you got the admission, you will still be employed. You keep your employment and your pay. So literally you go to school full-time, do your placements, and still get paid as a midwife or as a nurse midwife. You lose nothing, actually. So I kind of thought, God, that was the best bet. Yeah, if I lose nothing, I keep all my pay. Then there was nothing stopping me. All I needed to do was to put in the hard work, and I'll become a midwife. So trust me, I did. And I got into Salford University in Manchester, and I did another 20 months of studying, and I qualified again, the third time, as a registered midwife. Since then, I've only practiced a tiny bit, but I came back to the special care babies, literally doing agency and all of that. So that's my short story of my journey to becoming a midwife. In subsequent videos, I'm going to talk about the challenges and benefits of studying as a mature student, and I'm also in another video going to dive into the different specialty and what is available there, having trained as a nurse, or will I say the diversity in nursing. Remember, if it's your first time tuning into this channel, don't forget to subscribe and click on the notification icon so that you get notification for all my videos. And if you're a returning subscriber, I really do appreciate you. I look forward to hearing from you through the comment section, and don't forget to give me a thumbs up and share this video. Thank you.